It sure is nice having a complete collection of AcceleRacers.
Hi, Squidward!
I know. I said I wasn't gonna do this.
I probably won't be buying these AcceleRacers NFTs.
In that original video that I made, we estimated that it would take like a minimum of like $500 or something to complete the set of the AcceleRacers NFTs. And then it actually dropped, and I saw people on Discord getting a full set for like 100 to 150 bucks. And so as a collector, I'm like, you know, this thing is probably gonna be worth a ton of money on eBay. And if I ever want one of these, it's either now or never. So I tried my luck at it. I spent about 100 something bucks on a couple packs, and I got 23 of the 24. I did not get the ultra rare, and I was very mad.
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
And this is why this kind of thing makes me so mad, because I have ADHD, I have poor impulse control. This kind of FOMO stuff just preys on brains like mine. Like if it was anything else, I would not care, but it's AcceleRacers, you gotta have it in my collection. I was very lucky to have a generous Discord friend help me get this, but I will get to that in a sec. The reason I'm sitting down and talking with you guys today is because I wanna talk about what led to this whole NFT thing, why it happened, what went wrong during it and what happened, and where AcceleRacers might be going in the future. But before we get into all that, I want to do like a quick mini review of this Deora II, officially produced by Mattel and Hot Wheels. Hey, so recent editing here. So I had sent a customer service inquiry to Mattel Creations saying like, oh, my Deora II arrived damaged, you know, cracked blister. Even though it wasn't, I was totally lying. It was a desperate attempt, and I really didn't think anything of it. Usually they get back to you and they want to see pictures, you know, they want proof and everything. But I never got a response. Like I said, didn't think anything of it. And then one day I just woke up and lo and behold, yeah, so so now I got two of them, which is cool because I can open one and keep it loose, and I can open it on camera for you guys. It made my week, I'll tell you that, but I don't want to encourage this kind of behavior, but you know what? After everything we've been through with all this NFT stuff, I have no moral hangups over this. If Mattel wants to try and scam me with NFTs, I will scam them right back. A lot of people are not going easy on this thing. People are complaining about it being a retool and whatnot and saying it's inaccurate and it's crap, and I just don't agree. I actually think it's a really nice looking piece. I think they did a fantastic job with it. I don't really want to knock the art of the people that worked on this. I think they did a fantastic job. I don't really mind the whole retool thing. I mean, the surfboards are painted so it looks natural. It doesn't mess with the look of the car at all. And of course, you know, they're not removable, they're molded in, but that's, you know, that's fine. They did what they could working within the manufacturing limitations. And, you know, I understand that. And the inset window, it's not that noticeable. And I know the graphics are a little fuzzy because of the printing method. I collect Pixar cars and Hot Wheels premiums, and it's been like that for a long, long time. It's just only something like this that it's held under scrutiny. And that's the thing. I think people are just mad about the way this was released, and they're like taking it out on the piece itself. They like to tell themselves that it's crap because it makes them feel better. And like, I don't blame people for being angry. I totally get it. I am too. But in a vacuum, this thing is like really cool. It's got chrome 5 spokes, which I know is not movie accurate, but you know, they don't really have the wheels that it had in the movie in toy form. So I'm fine with this. I thought this is a cool looking choice with these real riders. It's got a metal body and a metal base, and apparently they tooled it that way for this. Like, for what it is with the manufacturing limitations, I think it's pretty good. Obviously, it's not as good as like a Metrometrics custom, but like, what is really?
All right, Deora II going down the track. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
La
And when it comes to what people are saying about this thing, it's like AcceleRacers fans have been dropping way too much money on inaccurate cars for how long now? And it's like now all of a sudden they have standards? Really? Like, I get why people are mad, but like, come on. That being said though, let's talk about what led to this. So for 15 years, there was no communication from Mattel. It was just radio silence. The AcceleRacers fandom did their own thing, they existed, but Hot Wheels and Mattel never acknowledged it. There was sort of a disconnect. And it had got to a point where a lot of fans, including myself, just basically turned into doomers and thought that Mattel hates us or Mattel's just not interested. These AcceleRacers comeback of anything is just never going to happen because it's just like we can't seem to get Mattel's attention no matter what we do. But then all of a sudden, all of that changed. In 2019, Hot Wheels released a mobile game called Infinite Loop, and the developers of that game were AcceleRacers fans. So they put in stuff like Burt Wheeler and a couple of the cars with their original liveries from AcceleRacers and World Race. And this just like blew our minds because it was like the first official Hot Wheels thing with AcceleRacers in it in like 15 years. It just came out of nowhere, at least to us. It was really exciting, and they did more as DLC, and from what I heard, Mattel started to notice that the DLC was selling, and they encouraged the developers to do more of it, which they did. They even did the Deora II, as well as a Power Rage, but it was Vulcan Vugan's wide body kit version render that he did. They just sort of stole it. I don't know what that's all about, but it was kind of weird.
Oh my god, this is basically the same thing as my Sonic OC becoming canon.
And unfortunately in 2021, the Infinite Loop game was shut down, which is par for the course for Hot Wheels mobile games. They always just kind of come and go. But it didn't end there, because in 2021, they announced Hot Wheels Unleashed, and it was done by developer Milestone. And it was kind of a big deal, because it was like, the first Hot Wheels console game in like a decade. And people were holding out for AcceleRacers cars. Can we put AcceleRacers cars in the game? At one point, Milestone opened up a Q&A, like live stream with their audience. And it's pretty funny to look back on now, where the brand was in the hands of a different company and they opened the floor, and like the first thing that was addressed were people asking about AcceleRacers, right?
Okay, then a question that I see quite often about the AcceleRacers cars. There will be anything about this? Many of you are asking.
So we're listening to your feedback, guys. I can't, of course, anticipate anything, but we are working on it. I mean, we have seen what you want. We know what you want, and keep an eye out. Keep an eye out.
Yeah, everybody seems to be asking this
Absolutely.
one way or the other, and we know.
We know very well.
And it actually got addressed. And they said, stay tuned. They teased it. And then in July, Comic-Con happened, and it was a digital event because it was still COVID, so it was all like, Zoom calls, nothing in person. But during Comic-Con, Hot Wheels had like a little panel, and it happened.
Why and when did Mattel include Hot Wheels into Comic-Con? Matt, you want to take this one?
So turns out the answer to that question is 2005, where Hot Wheels made its Comic-Con debut in honor of the launch of AcceleRacers. And some of you may know exactly what that is and are clamoring for the return of AcceleRacers. We hear you. We know that you want AcceleRacers to come back. And others of you probably don't know what that is. But it was a huge animated series all around Hot Wheels. It was super cool and awesome.
Takes me way back, because that was not only the first year I attended Comic-Con, but my actual first appearance on a Comic-Con panel. So since I was part of the team that developed AcceleRacers, I got a chance to be on the panel for AcceleRacers at that Comic-Con, and it was a really exciting opportunity. And I too would love to see AcceleRacers come back. It was such an awesome show.
And they did a reveal trailer for additional cars to be in Hot Wheels Unleashed.
And when you think you couldn't ask for more, well, there's more.
That's right. That was the first official acknowledgement of AcceleRacers in like over 15 years. So like that kind of changed everything, right? That's kind of changed the atmosphere a little bit. It was like, oh wait, maybe we were wrong. But it gets juicier. So in case you don't know, Hot Wheels holds this thing called the Legends Tour. They've been doing it since 2018 for their 50th anniversary. It's where they tour around the country to different Walmart parking lots with the real life Hot Wheels cars, and they host car shows, and everyone who enters their car into the show is competing to be, to move on to the next round, and then they compete to see the winner, and the winner gets their car made into an actual Hot Wheels car, like a little die cast. And one of the real life cars is the Deora II. So, there's a lot of AcceleRacers fans going out to these shows and checking out the Deora II. I know I did in 2019. And that one guy there that said about he would like to see AcceleRacers come back too, that is head of design at Hot Wheels, Brian Benedict. And at a show at JC Squared's hometown, if you don't know who JC Squared is, he is another AcceleRacers content creator, and he does a Vert Wheeler cosplay, so he loves the Deora II. Him and Brian Benedict met at this show, and you would think that, JC would see Brian and like fanboy and be like, oh my God, I love what you do. But it was the other way around. Brian took notice and recognized JC and was like, dude, I know your videos.
I sent your video to all the top executives.
No way!
Yes, because
oh my God.
People
yeah.
have crazy passion about this show.
We do.
And I run into people like you all the time. And so I was touched. I started crying watching your video.
I'm crying right now.
And that was a huge deal. Like, he's showing it to Mattel people.
And shout out to my AcceleRacers fans out here. Teku forever. Such an honor to meet you. A super fan, right? I think I'm classified as a super fan, right? Subscribe to JC Squares. They're awesome.
Yeah, I'm actually based.
And from there, it just kind of snowballed, and then all of a sudden there was this dialogue between AcceleRacers fans and people who worked at Hot Wheels. There was communication, and there was like a mutual respect, and it gave us a lot of hope. It's crazy looking back how I just flipped on a dime from like, they're never gonna acknowledge us, to just like, oh, there's potential here, like something could happen. Of course, I wasn't expecting like movie 5 or anything crazy like that. I think what a lot of fans wanted to see was some of the cars return, some releases of the cars. That's kind of what I've been holding out for. By all means though, I do not want to discourage Mattel from pursuing a movie 5, because that would be awesome. I'd love to be proven wrong, but it is really hard to get something like that greenlit. Mattel is a large company. They have all kinds of different departments that do different things, so there has to be synergy and communication in order to make things happen. The guys on the design team at Hot Wheels, they don't always get to call the shots. They have higher ups that they have to answer to. And that sort of newfound feeling of like Mattel might actually be listening is what led to us creating that petition. Now, granted, at first, I wasn't super stoked about the petition. I thought, oh crap, everyone's gonna laugh at us because petitions are kind of seen as a joke in this fandom. But I wanted to give it a shot because it's like things were different now. Like maybe things could change. But yeah, that was rough, especially since I had to be the face of it. But we were laughed at. That's just the reality. Some people did sign it, and thank you to those who did, but a lot of people didn't take it seriously. But anyway, it was cool because it's like now Hot Wheels know we exist, right? And it was cool because it was like we found out that it wasn't that they were ignoring us or they hated us or something. They just simply didn't know we existed. And if you're an AcceleRacers fan watching this, you might be thinking, how could they have not known for all that time? Like all we do is scream about it. And it's like, how did it take them this long? Like, duh, But, well, I think I have an answer to that. And it's something that I think is the biggest problem in the fandom right now. And that is that we are chronically online. Now, of course, I'm generalizing here. I know there's some exceptions to this, but AcceleRacers fans, they don't go to shows. They don't go and hunt for stuff in the wild, like flea markets, antique stores, whatever you had. They don't go to nationals. They don't talk in the RLC Mattel Creations forums. They don't join a club. It's like AcceleRacers fans' whole world is online, and all they know, collecting-wise, is eBay. And like this is why eBay resellers have had such leverage over the prices recently. It's because we're all online. take it from someone who is involved in the larger Hot Wheels collecting hobby. I get out to shows, I belong to a club, I've been to the LA convention, and it's like online, AcceleRacers fans are everywhere, you know, they're in abundance, but then when you're actually out there, it's like we don't exist. And when it comes to what Mattel pays attention to when it comes to adult collectors, it's, you know, the old-fashioned, you know, get together in person. They look at who's at the nationals and the convention and who's on the forums, and it's just like, we were never there. There's sort of a disconnect between the AcceleRacers fandom and the larger adult fan base and collector base of Hot Wheels. And there's a lot of AcceleRacers fans that don't really care about Hot Wheels outside of AcceleRacers. Again, I'm just generalizing. I know there's exceptions to the rule. I'm one of those exceptions. We just seem to occupy a different space than the other Hot Wheels people. And the people that work at Mattel, you know, they don't go home after work and like hang out in Discord servers or browse Reddit. That's just not reality. It's two different worlds, all right? They're living in a different world than we are. If you're in this fandom, then you know that the two places that AcceleRacers fans congregate the most online, ever since like 2017, 2018, like when the fandom really started to blow up, is Discord servers and the AcceleRacers subreddit. And there have been a couple Discord servers like Vulcan server and Tesla posting, but the most significant one is Hanmeg's main Hot Wheels server, which has grown exponentially since then. And like, that's where a lot of stuff went down in the fandom in the past couple years. Without Hanmeg's Discord server, there would be no Vulcan Vugan, there would be no JC Squared, and there would be no Tesla's Cube. I don't know if you guys know this, but we are a group, Tesla's Cube. I know I'm the only one that uploads to this channel anymore, but we are a group. We started out doing research stuff, and we all met in that Discord server, and we still keep in touch through Discord. You know, without that Discord server and the subreddit, like, the AcceleRacers fandom as it is today would not exist. So Discord is kind of our territory, right? So in 2022, when Mattel announced that they had started their own Mattel Discord server, that was kind of a big deal. That is until we all joined, we got in, and then we found out we were lied to, and this was not a Mattel server or a Hot Wheels server. This is a Hot Wheels NFT garage server. This was a Discord server to create a little community of people for NFT Garage, and they would communicate with their NFT Garage consumers through that. So like when it was first created, you know, all these NFT people were just hanging out, and then like all of a sudden, all these AcceleRacers and, you know, 2000s fantasy fans just kind of poured in out of nowhere. Now, in retrospect, I think we should have just left the server the moment we found out what it was. But for some reason, we stayed, and it was peaceful at first, but as soon as AcceleRacers fans started voicing their opinions respectfully on NFTs, you know, we weren't being crass or anything. You know, it was fine at first, but some of the NFT people took it personally, and even though we were trying to be reasonable and respectful, you know, playground insults were thrown at us, which just made AcceleRacers fans mad. And both sides just started to get more and more mad, and you know, it was a clash of perspectives. There was a lot of fighting, and they clashed pretty early on. AcceleRacers fans didn't respect NFT Garage fans, and NFT Garage fans did not respect AcceleRacers fans. It got so bad that it resulted in them deciding to make a AcceleRacers channel in the server. Now, the server and all the NFT stuff, it's handled by a social media company that Mattel is partnered with that helps them with their social media stuff. And the server was ran by two users named Deuce and Double, who were Mattel employees. To troll a little bit, the NFT Garage fans had this reoccurring joke where they'd like to joke about, you know, guys, when are you ever going to make AcceleRacers NFTs, right? It was like, you should make AcceleRacers NFTs. Just, you know, they kept saying that to mess with us, basically. And AcceleRacers fans didn't really think anything of this joke because it's like we had been ignored for 15 years. So like we were used to like anything we had asked not being made. So like we didn't think they'd actually do it, right? Right? So here's what happened. Someone, I don't know if it was someone at Mattel or at the social media partnership company or who it was, but someone in a position of power looked at the NFT server, saw the AcceleRacers channel, saw us in there, and mistakenly thought, oh, there must be some crossover in these audiences. The Hot Wheels team were looking to do something with AcceleRacers, but we're looking for an avenue to do it, and an avenue that could get greenlit by their higher ups. And so they went, hey, NFT Garage, is that an avenue we can take AcceleRacers down? And they were probably like, well, it's the only option you've ever given us, so yeah. Not really thinking anything of it. And of course they couldn't like consult an AcceleRacers fan like JC or something to maybe ask like, hey, would this be a good idea? Because then it would be like leaking it basically. So they kind of jumped the gun. I don't think they were really aware that AcceleRacers fans didn't like NFTs. We really shouldn't have been in that server. So as time went on, it got to a point where whenever that AcceleRacers NFT collection joke popped up, all of a sudden Double started responding to it with a very ominous soon. And we were like, what? No. That you're joking, right? That's a joke. And then in very late 2022, coming on to 2023, they put out the roadmap for 2023 NFT Garage. And there was a little tease, and all of our worst nightmares started to unravel. And it really started to settle in, all of the chaos that was about to ensue.
Oh, no.
So a couple months of impending doom. Fast forward to about May of 2023. That was when the Legends Tour started for 2023, and they had put a Teku wrap on the real-life Deora II. They also started paying JC's flights to fly him around to different Legends Tour shows, which was really cool. And the wrap was really cool. I'm really glad they did that. I thought that was a good move. But they had a plaque next to the Deora II, and we all know the story. The official announcement of AcceleRacers NFTs with an exclusive diecast was on that plaque. So they did the wrap and the whole JC thing to promote the NFT line. And of course, as I expected, chaos ensued. The entire fandom just kind of gave a collective, oh. In case you weren't aware, the way that NFT Garage works, well, it started out where you had a certain type of cryptocurrency. I forget what they started with, but you bought packs and would give you, I think, 6 random NFTs in the pack. It's sort of like opening a pack of trading cards. And some of them were just normal NFTs, but there were special ones that you could redeem a physical car. And they were like slightly more rare than the common ones. There was a rarity system. And they would drop them in like a series, like there was series 1, series 2. There was usually, I think, like 5 cars that were redeemable per series. And there's like a little marketplace where people could, buy and trade their NFTs so they could like get one that they needed and, sell someone else one that they needed. And you could transfer between friends. You could send someone, the NFT. But at some point they changed it to a different cryptocurrency. It's called Flow. And they wanted to host it on MattelCreations.com, where you could buy packs with just normal money and it would, like convert it to cryptocurrency basically. And so they did that. So they changed it, but it was, you know how it is with Mattel and websites, web development. They don't always get it right. So that transition took like way longer than they had set out for it to. And in 2023, they started doing what was called feature drops, which was, they do a smaller drop of a collection of themed Hot Wheels NFTs, and there would be one redeemable car that could be redeemed by collecting the entire set, right? The one that came before AcceleRacers was Fast and Furious, and that redeemable was Suki's pink Honda S2000. And the way that worked was there was a set number of NFTs, and there was, I think, a super rare that you had to get. But that was all the rarer it got. And having now participated in the whole NFT thing, any rarity up to super rare is not really rare. I mean, it's pretty obtainable. Like you can get them all in the packs pretty easily. Before the AcceleRacers thing, it wasn't that hard to redeem the cars, especially if like you needed something and you could go in the marketplace, right? So what happened with AcceleRacers was it was supposed to be 23, because you know there was a super rare version. It was like silver of the Deora II, but they wanted to add an additional ultra rare, and the odds of the ultra rare were like super low. Now, Double was actually really passionate about this. He wanted these in the hands of AcceleRacers fans, and they actually at Mattel they put up a vote for super rare, ultra rare, and Double advocated for having just a super rare, so it was like obtainable, but it was overturned, and that ultra rare really kind of threw a wrench into things. You remember I mentioned earlier about how I tried my luck at it and I got them all pretty easily, except for the ultra rare. And a generous Discord friend of mine ended up getting 2 ultra rares, and so he was saving it for me. But there's a problem. There's no trading or transferring implemented. I mean, there was the marketplace, but if he was to like list it up on the marketplace and then me like buy it as soon as he listed it, we couldn't do that either because people were using bots. So the bots would scoop it up right away. So he just had this ultra rare in his possession for me, and we didn't even know if I was going to be able to get it. Now, granted, he had an extra set just in case. It was, pretty easy to get a set, even on the secondary market, aside from the ultra rare. The rest of them are worth cents. A fraction of a cent, basically. But that ultra rare is what made it gambling. It was gambling. I know some people think that AcceleRacers fans are overreacting by saying this was a scam. I don't think it's that overreactive. It is a borderline scam. On top of all this, the communication with Mattel's consumers, between Mattel and their consumers, was awful. See, remember when I was talking about that NFT Discord server earlier? Well, they elected some of the NFT fans in there to be like mods or admins or whatever. And they were just completely power hungry and would just ban anyone that they didn't like. I mean, some people were banned for breaking the rules, but it was a double standard. There was people who would break the rules and not get banned. But whenever AcceleRacers fan broke a slight rule, they were gone. But even then, there were a lot of AcceleRacers fans who didn't break any rules and were still banned. I was banned for pointing out an inconsistency in rule enforcement. I guess that mod just couldn't take the criticism. So by the time the drop happened in September, like a majority of the AcceleRacers fans were not in the server, they were banned. And Mattel was using that Discord server to communicate with people about what was happening in the NFT thing. And the AcceleRacers fandom that never was in this Discord server that's on Reddit and stuff, they had no idea what was going on. There was people where even if they wanted to participate, they really didn't know what they were doing, so they didn't bother. So now with the whole ultra rare thing, you might be wondering, well, Reese, maybe they saw the fan backlash and Mattel made it really hard to get so that they wouldn't have to produce as many. But that's not how it works. They produce the full amount and then send out what gets redeemed. Whatever doesn't get redeemed gets disposed of, destroyed.
Destroy? Did you say destroy?
D word.
Like hurt?
Yeah, destroy.
So they produced 2,500 of these, 2,500, and that was how many ultra rares there were. You could only mint ultra rares if you were buying the packs. After the packs close, then you can only buy what's on the secondary marketplace. But here's the thing. The pack sales were only open for less than 24 hours, and they didn't tell us. There were AcceleRacers fans who wanted to participate in this, and they didn't get to because they didn't even know that the packs closed like in less than a day. So when the pack openings closed, the ultra rares on the marketplace all of a sudden started to be like hundreds of dollars, almost $1,000. You know how it is, right? All the other NFTs were like literally cents, but that one ultra rare was like $700, right? 1,000. In the end, they had 2,500 ultra rares, and the amount of them that were actually minted hovered around 500. Literally a fifth of them. To add insult to the injury, the date code on the bottom of these Deora IIs say S40, which was the 40th week 2023, October. The drop happened in September. They started producing these weeks after. So they knew only like 500 something of these would actually be redeemed, and they still produced all 2,500. So they were testing trading and transferring, and for a brief amount of time, for like a couple minutes, it was actually up and running as a test. It wasn't supposed to be. And my Discord friend saw this, and so he used that opportunity to send me my ultra rare, and I actually got it. It's in my collection. You know, my thing says 24 out of 24 now. But like, other than that, no one was really able to trade or transfer. And then, as time went on, there was a security issue where people's cryptocurrency, the flow or whatever, were being stolen. So they had to shut down the marketplace until they could fix it. There wasn't any two-step verification from what I've heard. And so for like a couple months, you could not, get NFTs on the marketplace. And it resulted in the redemption window for AcceleRacers to actually be delayed. On the Mattel Creation site where the announcement happened with all the information on it, it said January 19th. When they changed it, they sent out an email. I ended up having to post it in the Reddit just so AcceleRacers fans could know what was going on, because that day in January came around and people were like, where's the redemption? A freaking email. Like, really? That's how bad the communication was. Like, this whole thing was such a disaster, and it really didn't have to be. And, only like a fifth of them being redeemed. It really makes AcceleRacers look bad to Mattel when it really didn't have to. It's to the point where a lot of people are convinced that like this was a failure on purpose, but I don't buy that. No corporation wants their product to fail. That's not how reality works. This whole thing was just incompetence. We all know Mattel is an inept company. It's not a secret. So redemption came around. My friend got my redemption token instead of me, even though it was transferred to my collection. So that little test must not have really worked. In the blockchain, it didn't really register as belonging to me, but it did register as belonging to a complete set. So it wasn't a huge deal, because then he just redeemed it for me, punched in my information. I finally got it. JC never got the ultra rare. Big Man had a second one, so he had to help JC get his. JC's arrived with a cracked blister. Like, it's just, And this isn't like a new problem with the NFT redeemables. A lot of them have had a lot of quality control issues, specifically with the blister, because they're actually using thinner plastic for some reason. And he's not the only one. There are a lot of these that are showing up with broken blisters, blemishes. The quality control on these are horrible.
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What?
For an item that is being flipped on eBay for like 600, 700, it went up for $1,000 one time. It's crazy. And JC is just the craziest to me, because it's like everything that he did for them, helping them promote it and everything, and they didn't even give him one. They should be giving him one. Why is he scraping just to get one? The NFT guys in the NFT server who are receiving ones with broken blisters, and they're complaining to them, and they're sending them replacements without making them send them back. So now Mattel is just like giving them free Deora IIs. And it's like, these people don't care about AcceleRacers. They care about flipping them on eBay back to you for $700. So the fans are scraping over here, and they're basically giving them away to scalpers. This whole thing was just a disaster. They tried to give the AcceleRacers fans a new diecast, and all they did was just add another one to the pool for the eBay flippers. They just added another unobtainable item to make everyone's AcceleRacers collections remain incomplete. Overpriced, underproduced. I get why people are mad. I'm mad too. But I need to stress that Mattel does not hate us. They do not despise us, and they're not trying to mock us. This is a sentiment I keep hearing in the fandom, and I just think it's immature. Please, if you're watching this, do not blame this on Brian or any of the folks on the design team at Hot Wheels. This is not their fault. They did the best they could. Someone in a position of power just made a really stupid series of decisions. A lot of people think that they're trying to mock us and that they don't care. And here's what I need to get across to you. Mattel doesn't hate us. They just don't understand us. That's it. It's simple. It was just a misunderstanding. They don't get the AcceleRacers fandom, and they're trying. They're trying to get it. We can pick up the pieces from this. In October, after the drop, myself, JC, Big Man, Slingshot Kurt 847, Metrometrics, and a bunch of other fans, we went to Mattel again in El Segundo for the Legends Tour event, which we did the year before. And the day before the event, they actually gave me, JC, Big Man, and Slingshot Kurt 847 a tour of the Mattel Design Center, which they don't just let anybody in there. That's kind of a big deal. It meant a lot to us.
3, 2, 1, go.
What else can I recognize?
I think that's Bedlam. Yeah, Bedlam.
Swifty Bedlam is nice. Oh, Crazy Eights is over there with Side Draft and El Camino.
Yeah. And it was a really surreal experience actually walking in there and just seeing everything. It was just so overwhelming, but it was such a cool experience.
Hot diggity dog! This place is magnificent.
After everything we've been through, just from dwelling on Discord being they don't care, they would never acknowledge us, to just being there and standing in Mattel with Brian Benedict, who was giving us his tour, just so kind, didn't have to do that, but he did it anyway. Super thankful. It was just we've come such a long way. It's we don't get any closer to Mattel than this. They know that we're really passionate about this stuff, and they really do like it, and they think it's cool. The next day at the show, we got to see the real-life Deora II with the wrap, which was super cool, and they had a finalized prototype of the Deora II on display, which we got to see. It was our first reveal of it. And they also had the convention. It was happening the same weekend as the LA convention, which we went to, and got to meet a lot of cool people, a lot of people from Hot Wheels, and the Hot Wheels world in general. It was overall just a great time, and that's a trip that I will never forget. But I've spoken to people working at Mattel. I've talked to these people. They don't hate us. They're just trying to understand. So if you can, try not to just scream at them and be angry. I know we're angry. It's just really, it's tough. It's a sticky situation. But I think we can come back from this. This is in the past now. And I'm very ready for it to be in the past. As for the future of AcceleRacers, I would not expect any sort of movie 5. It's just, I don't think it's going to happen. Again, I would love to be proven wrong. Don't want to discourage Mattel from pursuing that. But it's just not looking like that's, in the pipeline. I do, however, think that they should be releasing some AcceleRacers cars, especially since, they had to dig in their archives for deliveries for that NFT thing. And their archival system is terrible. So they really had to like put in some work to try and find that old stuff and fix problems with it and redo some parts of it. The Teku Deora II was the graphics for the Teku Deora II were completely done from scratch by Li Wei Chang, and he did a fantastic job, I think. He actually used the movie as reference, so the livery is actually quite accurate. But they have these liveries on hand now, like the graphics, so they could just slap them on a new release, you know? I know a lot of people want premium, and I don't know if that's going to happen because, they kind of treat premium like it's just for licensed vehicles and, fantasy stuff just doesn't get the love there. It sucks, man. The fandom deserves better. They do. I mean, it's cool that I have one of these, but every time I see it, it makes me mad that like so many AcceleRacers fans just aren't going to get one. JC has a video about our El Segundo trip. I recommend you check it out. He does a little interview with Brian Benedict, and he asked Benedict what could be the future for AcceleRacers stuff that could be coming, and this is what was said.
You know, there are a couple little things in the works, but it still may not be quite
just
what
something that's just a
people are-
little.
Yeah.
Very small, very small.
Little nods, little subtle nods.
That's okay.
So yeah, little things. I hope it's just, you know, slapping some liveries on a car as a little wink and nod. I just wanted to talk about that to give some context and keep you guys up to date on like what led to this, why it happened. And if you've gotten this far in the video, I just want to say thank you for watching. We got more videos on the way. You guys tell me in the comments what you think. All right, see ya.
Hey, Jomo, how you doing?